Hey guys, Tom here from the Lens Depot, here today to talk to you about our Inspire 2 drone rental package. Today we're going to go over what's included with the package, what you'll need to get started, some tips and tricks for getting everything set up, and then we'll kind of discuss some basics. So let's start with everything that's included. Obviously the most important aspect is the Inspire 2 drone. There are a lot of improvements on this. It does have quick release locks on the propellers, now has sensors similar to that found in both the Mavic series and on the Phantom 4 series. There's also a new dedicated camera for your pilot if you're using a dual operator setup. That's really comes in handy. The charger comes with this. This works for both the batteries and the charger. The charging hub. 2 sets of batteries. Batteries are a little bit different from the original Inspire. They now work as a pair, and we'll get a little bit more in depth on that a little later in the video. A USB to USB connection in case you need to do firmware updates. A propeller release, the X5S camera. This does have a little bit improved connection, and we'll go over how to install that on the drone. The remote control. Props, we give you a total of 8 props, 4 for the drone and then 4 as an extra just in case. There is also an option for our Inspire 2. We have it both with and without the ProRes option. If you do rent our ProRes package, which allows you to record in ProRes, you'll also get a DJI CineStation SSD reader and 2 of the DJI 240 gigabyte SSDs. So that's everything that's included with it. What do you need to get started with it? Well, first and foremost, you do need a micro SD card. Even if you're going to be recording in ProRes, you always have to have one in there to record. You'll also need a capable phone or tablet with the DJI Go 4 app installed, and you'll want to make sure that your device is fully compatible with the DJI Go 4 software before you rent this, because otherwise you're going to have a real hard time flying the drone without it. You'll also need a cable that corresponds from your device with a USB connection to connect to the remote. Now, optionally, another option we have, we do rent extra batteries if you need more of those. And then we have second controllers if you want to have a dedicated pilot camera operator and then one person flying the drone, then we rent those. Now that we've kind of gone over everything, let's go ahead and get into how to get this guy set up so you can take it up in the air. So now we're ready to mount the camera onto the Inspire 2. You'll notice the camera's already in landing mode. The nice thing about the cases that we include with the rental is the drone will transport in landing mode already, so that makes it easier to mount the camera. First thing that you want to do, I mentioned earlier in the video, they've improved the way that the gimbal mounts. So there's a button, it's on my right side, it would be to your left if you're facing directly at the drone. You want to hold that button and then turn it clockwise to remove the protective cap. Now on the very front of the mount for the gimbal here, there's a red dot. When I get the X5S camera out of here, first thing I want to do is take the lens cap off. There's going to be a white dot and a red dot. What you're going to want to do is line this white dot up with the red dot, and then you push straight up. There should be no silver in between, and then you want to rotate the connection on the gimbal to the red dot, which would be counterclockwise. Once you have the red lined up to the red, then that means you've got a secure connection on the camera. It should fit on here like this, and then we're ready to go ahead and install the batteries. Now, like I briefly mentioned earlier in the video, the batteries for the Inspire 2 are a little bit different because they work in pairs. This is to improve reliability and flight time. So when you get the batteries, you're going to see that they're going to have, 2 of them are going to have an A on them, and 2 of them are going to have a B. These batteries are paired together, so you always want to mount the A together with the A and the B together with the B. This goes for both flying the drone and charging the batteries. You do need to charge them together, and you do need to mount them to the drone together. Now the AC adapter that we include, you're going to see two connections on it. One of them is going to be for connecting to the remote. The other is going to be to connect to this charging hub, which allows you to charge the batteries. There's a connection right here in the top. So you would use the smaller connector for that, and then the larger connector goes into the side of the remote right here. Now, this little contraption here, this is the charging hub. So there's 4 buttons on the top here. These fold completely flat, so you can put it on a flat surface or on the floor. When you're mounting these to charge, there's a little rail on the inside. What you're going to want to do is the battery would mount away from that rail. The pads on the battery mount away from the rail, and it just clicks in when the battery's secure. So you would want to put the A battery like this, so they're together. And then once you do that, the 2 batteries will start charging up. You'll see the lights. To release the batteries from the hub, you'd use the button at the top and then just pull gently on the batteries, and then that releases them from the hub. Now, mounting the batteries to the craft is going to be pretty similar. The battery pads that you see here are going to be needing to be facing out, and then the connection is going to go on the inside here. So there's a rail on this. You're going to want to push until you hear a click like that. Same thing for the other battery. You would push until you hear a click. Now, the button to release the battery is going to be here, and then the power button is going to be at the top, similar to the other DJI drones. To release the batteries, though, this button has like a 2-point lock. When you push the first battery in, you'll see this when you install the batteries. When you push the first part in, then you'll see one part lock, and then when you push the second, both of them lock. If you simply push down in the middle, it'll release both batteries, so you can take them off to put them back on charge or to install the second set of batteries. So we'll go ahead and lock those. And then this is all set, and we're ready to go ahead and to install the props. So just like every other DJI drone, there are color-coded propellers that correspond with the clockwise and counterclockwise motors. So your, we'll call it the red propeller, is going to mount here on your front left and back right. And then the white propeller is going to mount on your front right and back left. The way you connect these, you'll see there's a little tab at the bottom that corresponds with a tab here. These simply lock in. The quick release protection has a squeeze. You want to squeeze that and rotate it until you hear a click. The other way you can tell that you've lined them up is the arrows on the quick release portions will match up with the arrows on the propellers. I always like to give them like a nice little just check to make sure that they're on there. It's kind of a good practice. But once you have the propellers on, and if you do want to take them off, which you'll need to put them back in the case, you just squeeze the lock, rotate it, that comes off. Same thing over here on the white side. Now that that's all set, then we'll talk a little bit about the media options for the Inspire 2 drone. For standard recording, the Inspire 2 utilizes micro SD cards. The slot is kind of in a weird place. It's going to be right here on the front left of the drone. What you want to do is the label faces downward towards the inside of the drone. It's on a slant, and then you push that in to lock it. Now, if you do rent the option that we have for ProRes, the SSD needs to be installed in the rear. Now this is very, very, very important. Even if you're recording in ProRes, you always have to have a micro SD card installed in the craft, or otherwise you will not be able to record to the SSD. So make sure you do plan ahead to have a micro SD card if you plan on renting the ProRes option and are going to be recording to the SSDs. So right here in the back, there's a little tab. You do have to remove the batteries in order to access the SSD slot. It's just really hard to get in there otherwise. There's a protector for that slot. You just want to pinch in, that'll pull right out. And then we have the SSDs. Now it's very obvious on the SSDs, one side on the top of it, there's an arrow. This is the side that's going to be facing up. It only goes in one way. You simply push that in, and then you'll see the SSD as an option, and then it'll give you the options for the different ProRes recording. Now this is all set, we're ready to fire up the drone, and we'll talk a little bit about some tips before you take it up into the sky. Okay, now that we have everything installed, it's ready in time to boot everything up. You always want to start up the remote first, then the craft. I already have my phone installed on the remote, so let's go ahead and get started. So with every DJI product, you boot this the same way. What you'll want to do is press the button once, that gives you your current battery level, then press and hold to turn on the remote. I'm going to go ahead because it looks like the phone fell asleep, but put it back into the DJI Go app. Then we're going to do the same thing with the remote. Press once, then press and hold. This is normal. The gimbal will rotate. It's doing its automatic startup process. So once you're connected, then you'll get a video feed that shows you your current status. Now, this is a very, very important thing. Before you take the craft up, just like with every other DJI product, you want to calibrate the compass first and foremost. What you would do is in your top left-hand corner of the app, you'll see your current status. That gives you whether or not you're connected to GPS. And if you click that, then it'll give you an option to calibrate the compass. The app will walk you through the specifics of how to do it, but you rotate the craft until it's successfully connected. And then once you're connected, you'll have an indication that you're ready to fly with GPS. We strongly recommend doing this every single time, just so the craft will have a reference for your specific home position. It's very easy. It only takes a couple of seconds to do, but it can save you a lot of headache. Just another couple of quick tips. With the addition of the forward sensors, keep in mind that these are turned off when the craft is in landing mode. That's why we personally recommend when you're taking it off to use the automatic takeoff, because this will flip the landing gears up into the flight position, and that'll activate your forward sensors. The main thing is just be very, very, very cautious when you're flying it, and if you're unsure of the situation, then don't risk it and don't try to take it up into the air. This includes if it's raining, if it's windy, snowing, hail, you have a lot of trees and you're not a very confident pilot. There is a beginner mode you can practice with. Hopefully by the time you get to this level of drone, you have a little bit of experience under your belt, but we do understand some people want to go right for the biggest and best. But the main thing is just be very careful with the drone, be very cautious. This is an incredible machine. We think you're going to absolutely love it. We have been very, very impressed with the test flights that we've done here so far. Our customers have just been absolutely raving about it. So, have fun with the Inspire 2. That does conclude the overview. If you do have any questions, get in touch with us, leave a comment. The best way to get in touch with us is to email us. Our email is sales@thelensdepot.com. You can also go to the contact page on our website and either contact us through our contact form or give us a phone call. And again, if you have any questions before you take it up, feel free to get in touch with us, and happy flying. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.